Hello, this is Joe with joesastrophoto.com, and welcome back to part 2 of the Astrophotography Challenge Across the Pond. Today we're going to process Glenn's master files and see what we can come up with. Bloody marvelous, this tea is. If you missed part 1 of the Astrophotography Challenge Across the Pond, then please make sure and go and view that. It's got some great backstory as to what I'm doing today. But I'm going to be taking Glenn, aka Astrobloke's master files of the Flaming Star Nebula and processing them in pixinsight and probably Photoshop or Lightroom afterwards. Let's get started. So here are the 3 masters that Glenn sent me, and we're going to take a look at them right now. See what we have to work with. Here's the sulfur. And here's the oxygen. There's a little bit more data in the oxygen. And the hydrogen alpha. Oh, that's nice. No, hydrogen alpha. Not sure what happened here in the stacking, but we have to crop anyway. We are just doing the Flaming Nebula, but he's got the tadpoles in here too, and that looks nice. I think I'm going to start by cropping just what I have to and see what that looks like before I crop just the Flaming Star Nebula out. So let's open up the dynamic crop, and I think we'll do that on the hydrogen alpha because I could see it a lot better. Got an itchy mouse finger, so I think I could only go to here, but I'm going to try and come down. That actually looks really nice. I think this is NGC 1931. If I got that wrong, let me know in the comments below, but I think that's what this is too. This is a pretty nice wide field view here. That Z61 that Glenn used is pretty nice. Okay, I'm gonna apply this to the other images so that we get the same crop. And then execute it on this. So I bribed the parrots with a peanut before I got started. I don't know how long that's going to last. They've been pretty vocal this evening, so we'll see. All right, so I think my next step's going to be to combine these. But first I'm going to do a linear fit. And I'm going to use the hydrogen alpha and then just apply this to the other ones. So I'm going to do this because it should equal out the background level on all 3 of the images. And then after that we'll go ahead and combine them up. I want to make sure that these still look okay. Okay. And unfortunately, if you hear the parrots, I do apologize. They know every time that I decide to start a video. Not much I can do about it. So I'm just going to use this real quick and bring these in. This will be our green. This will be our blue. And the sulfur hiding back here will be our red. So let's give this a look. So these are big files. They were done with the 294mm Pro in 1x1 binning. I think each sub-exposure file is around, I want to say 90 meg, I believe is what Glenn was telling me. But when he sent these over, the resolution on this is just incredible. And so everything that I do in pixinsight seems to be taking a little bit longer than what I'm used to. So let's see what we got here. Well, that's pretty cool. I think I might just keep it like this instead of cropping the flame nebula out. It'd be a shame to waste all of this over here. It's just too cool looking. Well, let's continue on and then I'll see from there. So it's time to do a dynamic background extraction. And I think I'm going to leave the default sample radius pretty high because of the resolution. I usually generate between 100 to 150 on the sample radius, but I have a feeling that with the resolution this large, I like working with the big boxes. Let's see what it does. Oh, those might be a little too big. Let's put this at 200. I guess I could live with that. Okay, I'm gonna remove these. Okay, let's give this a try. I'm gonna pull this out so I don't have to reuse it. It's not bad. All right. Close this and reopen it and do a quick subtraction using the same points. And now we're going to do a color calibration and background neutralization on it. Re-screen stretch this. Okay. And then I'm going to run a multi-scale linear transform. Change this to RGB. Put the preview mask on. Going to turn off the screen stretch so we can see what we're working with and turn on the real-time preview. And that might be a little bit much. So I'm going to move the amplification down to about 120. Oh, 170. Nope, back down to 150. And that'll work. Okay. We'll close this, turn off the preview mask, re-screen stretch so we can see what change it makes and run it. This might take a second too because of how large the file is. Look here. Yeah, I think that cleared it up pretty good. Okay, we'll close this and now I think I'll go ahead and stretch this. So let me open up the histogram transformation. Do a real-time preview. I'm gonna lock it in. Reset this. it's clipping a little bit, but I like the way it looks. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to do this one more time. I know I'm clipping a little bit of black here, but I like the way that background looks that way. And I'm going to be brightening it up again. Okay, I think we've got our stretch. Nice. So the next thing I'm going to do is invert this, and when you invert the image, the magenta stars that you get from a normal SHO palette will turn green. So by inverting the image and running an SCNR and removing the green but preserving the lightness, we'll get rid of those magenta stars. There's better ways of doing this. This is my cheap, fast way of doing it. Okay, might as well leave that open because I think I'm going to use it. So I think the next thing I'm going to do is actually remove some of this green. I think I'm going to try it. 0.65. So I was going to try a different processing, a different workflow in my processing where I was going to do some color masks after removing the stars from the image, and I think I'm still going to do that. Normally when you do that, you wouldn't run an SCNR on the green, you would use the color mask to remove it, but I think we've got a little bit too much green here, and I want to remove some of the green now so that I don't have to remove as much later. Yeah, so that'll work for the moment. So I'm going to go ahead and close this, and I'm going to make a clone of this before, actually I'm going to use the clone, so I'm going to roll this up and save it for later. I'm going to roll these up and get them out of the way because we really do not need these anymore. Well, actually we do. We need the hydrogen alpha. I was going to make that a luminance layer, so I'll still need that as well. Okay, so we're going to run a star net on here to remove the stars. This is going to take a little bit of time, so I will cut the video and come back when it's completed. The star net completed, and we can move on. So the next thing I want to do now is run some color mask scripts, and I'm actually going to I'm going to run the green, switch back at a blur of 3. I'm just going to move this over here, and then I'm going to run that script again. Also at a blur of 3, but for cyan. Alright, and I'm going to start with the green. I'm going to go ahead and apply this mask. And then we'll hide that mask, but it's still applied. And we're going to open up curves. We'll start the real-time preview so we can see what we're doing. And I think I'm going to now remove a little bit more of the green. About there. And then I want to bring in some red. And maybe a little bit of blue. use the C function to give it a little bit of pop. And I think I'll apply that and then come back because I'm starting to get too many here. And we're going to give this a little S curve to get a little bit more contrast. Maybe a little bit more. All right, let's apply that for now. I'm gonna call that good on this one, but I think I'm just gonna minimize this for later. I might come back. Now we'll do the same with the cyan mask. So we'll just, I think I'm gonna start with blue and see what happens if I add a little bit. So normally there's some blue right in here, and I think that Glenn was struggling a little bit with the moon was a lot brighter than when we picked this target, and he also had a lot of bad weather. So I think that, or I don't think he got as much oxygen as he would have liked in this area. So I was trying to pull out a little bit more. I don't want to, I don't want to make the image purple though either. I just was trying to get that oxygen data that's there. It's just really faint, and I was just trying to pull it up a little bit. We still need to turn the real-time preview on so I can see what kind of damage I'm doing. Yeah, see it turns too purple, so I think we need to keep this pretty low. Let's turn the red on. That looks a lot more like a true Hubble palette now. Oh, that's looking nice. So I'm going to apply that. So you could start to see that oxygen data coming through. I might tone this down just a little bit and apply that one more time. Let's see what this looks like behind it. No, actually, I don't want to overdo it. Let me reset this. I'm gonna give this just a little bit more light. And I want to pull this blue I want to make it a little bit more aqua color. I think I'm going to apply that one more time. All right, now I'm going to roll that up. So this is pretty much done. I need to remove this mask. All that playing around's kind of made it a little grainy, so I'm going to run a convolution. I'm going to pull this up to about 4 and see what that looks like. Yeah, it looks better. So the next thing I'm going to do is take the hydrogen alpha and I'm going to turn that into a luminance layer. So I'm going to go ahead and clone that, put that back where it was in case I need it again. And I'm gonna, real quick, I need to run the dynamic background extraction on this, the same one that we did on the other, so it matches. So let me execute that. And then run back real quick and do a subtraction. Rescreen stretch this. I'm going to do the exact same multi-scale linear transform that we did on on the first one. I believe that was at 150, and this time it's going to be a luminance, not an RGB. You could also run a deconvolution on this first, but this looks pretty good. I'm just going to roll with it the way it is. Okay. I guess let's do a quick stretch. We'll reset this and do it again. And one more time. I believe I clipped the other one at about 16, but that's pretty close. That, close this down. There's our stretch and also our luminance layer. So now I'm going to run StarNet on here, and that's going to take a minute, so I'll be back again when it's completed. StarNet completed on our luminance layer, so let's see what it looks like. We'll open up the LRGB combination again and uncheck the RGB. We'll put this in luminance. We're going to check mark the chrominance noise reduction and then apply it to our main image. There we go. Let's zoom in a little bit. Just kind of curious. Oh yeah. Okay, that looks nice. Of course, it'll look nicer when we get the stars back in, so that's what we're going to do next. Now we'll just save these as TIFFs. I'm just going to call this Starless. Just for now. I'll rename it later. And we'll make it a 16-bit. And then I'm going to come back to our original image. And I'm going to save this as a TIFF as well. And I'm just going to call this Stars. And I'm going to open them up in Photoshop. I'll be right back. Okay, we've got them both open in Photoshop. Here's the completed image and here's the one with the stars. And what we do is we add a layer and then come to our stars, select everything, copy it, paste it in our new layer, and then we're going to change this to luminosity. Now we're going to merge down and we're going to duplicate this layer. And we're going to open this up in Camera Raw. See if we can give it a little bit more contrast. maybe there, and I'm gonna put a little bit of clarity on here too. And then, I don't know, I'm just gonna see what vibrance does here. I'm liking a little bit of it. No, I don't want to saturate. That's too crazy. Alright, that's looking really nice. We'll say okay. See how it changed. Okay, now we still have this to deal with over here on the side. So I need to crop that out of here. I was really wanting to try and keep the NGC 1931, I believe that is. So unfortunately, this looks too strange to me to leave in there. So I need to crop that out. I think I'll come up to crop and do a custom crop. No, not that way. I don't use this that often. Original ratio. I just need to get past that. I think I'll bring it up just a little bit. That looks good. Let's see what this looks like. Alright, I managed to keep some of this nebulosity. Alright, well that's it. I'll export it out and show it to you at the end of the video. If you like this kind of content, please give me a like. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Hope you enjoy both images.